guys, today we are talking all about how to order your groceries online, all while having a whole lot of fun. Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. I am Cris from recipes@crock.com, and I am currently sitting here at my computer so that I can talk through one of the things that many of you have been asking me for, especially given recent events, and that is, how can I order groceries online? And so there are several different tools I wanted to talk about and share with you guys, at least share my experience of ordering groceries online. To give you a little bit of an idea, I've ordered groceries online for probably 2 to 3 years consistently, using 3 major methods, and I think given current circumstances, those 3 options sometimes work better in some places than others. I'm also going to give you a 4th option if none of those things pan out for you. So let's get started. I have pulled up, I've been working on a blog post that kind of gives all the details and links to all the stuff I'm talking about. So I'm going to actually scroll through that blog post, at least the part of it that I have written. I have almost all of it written, so that I don't miss any points while we're talking about this. So there are 3 major ways that I have purchased groceries over the years. The first one is through my local grocery store. Now this is true both when we are in Indiana, and it is also true whenever we travel. So we travel, for those of you who maybe haven't seen us before, we travel about 6 months out of the year in our RV. We travel all over. We spend a lot of time in Texas, so if you're from Texas, some of these things might come in handy for you. We also travel and stay in hotels sometimes, and I've got some tips later on for that, where this might not be exactly optimal depending on what your situation is. The thing about local grocery stores is most major chains do have an online grocery option, and that is, most of the time it is available in most of their stores for you to go and park in a special part in the parking lot, and then their staff just comes and brings the groceries you've ordered online and puts them in the back of your car. It's super handy, particularly when I love it whenever we travel, when I don't know a grocery store very well. I love it during the holidays when things are super crazy, and I have been using it quite a bit in this case of an emergency where there's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to only go out for a very brief moment, and I want the things that I've ordered. And I've found, while it is getting increasingly hard to find things in stock, this is still a viable method for me. The way that works, I've lined it all out in the blog post, but in general, almost all of your grocery stores that offer this option will let you look through their selections online. You can choose different things, and then it comes time for checkout, and during checkout you get to pick a time slot. This is for pickup. So for pickup, you just pick a time slot. Now, since in emergencies and holiday situations, the slots tend to be a little bit slimmer pickings than during normal everyday. Like, I do this, I've been shopping like this weekly for years. So this is not what you see, if this is the first time you've ever done this, is not normal for online shopping. I think more people are trying to use the resource. So anyhow, so you pick a time. Some grocery stores, like Walmart, typically if you pick the next day, you don't get charged any kind of fee. Then there are other grocers that will either charge you a fee for the popular times, or they might have a flat fee that they charge. It might be $5. I have seen up to $10 for that fee, so just keep that in mind. Some grocers also, depending on where you live, offer home delivery, and you will have to put in your address and all that kind of stuff, and it'll show you if that's available, and that almost always costs a fee. And something to keep in mind with just about anything that's going to have a home delivery is that you are usually You don't have to pay a tip, but it's kind of custom. It's kind of like, you know, when you have takeout delivered to your house, you should tip the driver that brings it. And so it's optional. It's also like if you're at a restaurant or whatever, you can determine what it is, but that is kind of an expectation kind of built into there, even though they say you don't have to do it. So that kind of increases your budget just a little bit when it comes to delivery. So what are the pros and cons of grocery working with your local grocer if you have a major chain? I know some of you don't have that, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you have a major chain like a Walmart, a Meijer, a Kroger, a Publix, a H-E-B, I've ordered from all of those folks. There are also some apps that we'll talk about here in a little bit that even open up more stores like Target and CVS and places like that. So we'll get to that here in a minute. But all of those major retailers, you log on, you look for what you want, you pick a spot, and then you go ahead and you give them your credit card information, and they go ahead and put you in the process. Then up until a certain time cut off, you're allowed to add to that basket with most of these guys. I don't know what all the current rules are, and I don't know if the rules are changing depending on emergency, but for the most part, you usually have a cutoff time of when you can add things to your grocery list. Then an hour or a few hours before you're going to go pick up your grocery order, an employee goes and shops for those items. And this is one of the cons, I think, when you talk pros and cons of online grocery order. This is one of those that can be a con, because what they had in stock whenever you ordered and what they have in stock when the employee goes and picks it out can differ, and especially in emergency situations or sometimes holiday situations, they may not always have the things that they thought they had whenever you first made the order. You won't get charged for those things, and you do have the option of saying, hey, I would like substitutions, or no, I absolutely don't want substitutions. But sometimes that kind of changes and you kind of get what you get. And you can tell them, even if they try to substitute something and you don't like it, you can always tell them no, and they'll always deduct it from your bill. But in a pinch, you kind of are up to what the employee thinks is a good substitution. Sometimes that's great, sometimes that's not so great. So that's one of those cons that I think some other forms kind of, if you need something very specific, I think some of the other forms might be a little bit more helpful. So that is the first way you can do it, going through the major online grocery chains, and you can use their systems. They all are just a little bit different, but they're similar enough. And if one grocery store doesn't have availability, you can always go to a different grocery store. So you can kind of check without having to drive all over town to see who's gonna have what. You can do it from your computer. That keeps you from going in and out of stores and throwing your hands up and finding the crowds everywhere. You can kind of do a little bit of research on your computer that way. So that's the first way. And again, there's a blog post down below that will have more detailed, like step by step, how that process works in general, and links to all the websites that you can kind of check out. I just put grocery stores that I personally have had these experiences with, because I don't, and that's going to be very regional in how it works. So if your grocery store isn't listed, that doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily have an online option. It just means I personally haven't encountered it or tried it while I've been on the road. So you just need to go to your grocery store's website and see if it's available. Now, I will give you a caveat that I have seen Aldi and I have seen Target both advertise online shopping, but they're using other apps, third-party apps, to kind of do that, or at least what I have seen from them. I've seen them using those third-party apps, and we will talk about that in the third point. So let's go on to the second point. Second point is one of those things that I don't know that everybody always thinks about, but it's a way to kind of be prepared, and especially kind of not get sucked into some of this emergency madness stuff that has been happening with toilet paper. And what I'm talking about is buying items in bulk online, and so that is stuff like Amazon Subscribe and Save, or just buying things sometimes on Amazon. You can buy them in bulk and they come. Now, things have been picked through right now. I'm saying when things die down, this is something that you might want to set up so you don't get caught off guard again. Amazon Subscribe and Save is one of those things. You can buy things in bulk, and it will give you a discount depending on, you get a definite 5% discount for subscribing to get it every so often. You can decide, do you want it once a month? Do you want it, you know, once every 3 months, once every 6 months? And you can always change that, and you can always unsubscribe. So we use Amazon Subscribe and Save for the big luggy things that we don't like to have to carry around the store and then carry to the car and then get to the house. So stuff like pet food, stuff like paper goods like toilet paper and paper towels and paper plates, those kinds of things. Things that we can find cheaper online if we buy in bulk, like coffee, laundry detergent, dishwasher detergent, those kinds of things. So they have a subscribe and save button, and usually what you can do is, if you're searching for things on Amazon, sometimes it will show you the price, and sometimes it will show you the price at what it would be if you subscribe to that item. And that's what that means. If you subscribe to 5 items, I believe, a month, then the price drops 15%. So what somebody would buy that item or that bulk item just to buy it from Amazon, you're gonna get a 15% discount for subscribing to it once a month or once every 6 months. You get to determine, and you can always review it, you can always skip it, you can always manage it. So it's not like you are promising to pay that every month or anything like that. You can always manage it. So there's that, but it also just kind of keeps those kinds of things that you go through on a regular basis, kind of, you'll figure out how often you need them, and they can come. Now, one of the things I will tell you, either if you're buying for Subscribe and Save, or if you're just buying in bulk in general, particularly on Amazon, particularly right now, you need to compare your prices. So you need to know how much one single item costs, and if that item, they're giving you 8 of that item, then you need to make sure that that makes sense from a spending standpoint. Because sometimes Amazon's really, really good about trying to weed out people who are price gouging, or who are kind of like over the top trying to make a buck because people are out of stuff. But some people do kind of try to sneak through, and then sometimes there are people who just charge a lot of money for things that you could get much cheaper in person. I equate it to the big box, you know, membership stores. Sometimes that big barrel of pretzels is a really good deal if you're gonna eat that many pretzels. And sometimes it really isn't that great of a deal. It just feels like it is because you're buying everything in bulk. So that's the thing, you just need to, you gotta watch prices when it comes to buying items in bulk. And along those same lines, I will say another area that I look for, particularly this, with all this going on, is look to the retailers, or not the retailers, I'm sorry, either other online retailers, and then also the companies that actually make the products that you love. Now, this may not always work out, but I eat a lot of specialty products when it comes to low carb. So I could buy those products on Amazon or another retailer, or I could go directly to the source. Now, when you go, the downside to that is a lot of times you need to spend so much in order to get free shipping, if they even offer free shipping. So what I like to do, especially for my low carb items, is I go to a store called Nutrition. They have a lot of low carb items that I enjoy, and I do that a few times a year, and I buy in bulk, like my low carb pasta, my sweeteners that I enjoy, and those kinds of things. And so what I'll do is I will wait until I need enough stuff to meet their free shipping threshold, and then I get free shipping, plus I get my items in bulk and discounted. So that's kind of another idea for you to use. If you are diabetic or if you are low carb, you might want to check out Nutrition, because it does have a lot of those low sugar, low carb items that we enjoy. And I know, at least in my local grocery stores, like, all that stuff's been cleared out, because we all know how hard it is to get a hold of that stuff sometimes. And so anyhow, what I would suggest is if you could even go in with a friend to bulk order some of that stuff sometimes, and I've done that before too. So that's just something to consider. Again, the blog post has a lot more items there. I'd say the downside to bulk ordering is a couple things. One, it's expensive, because you might have it in your budget enough to buy 1 or 2 items, but if you've got to buy 8 items to get the discount, even though it's discounted, it still is it's expensive. It's also expensive if you have to buy enough to get free shipping from some of these places, or it's kind of up the per item cost. So that's that's the downside to it. The other thing is, if you buy 8 of something that you normally have 1 of, you've got to have a place to store all that stuff. So either being pantry items or items that you want to keep, you know, in your cleaning closet and that kind of stuff, you got to have a place to put all this stuff. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. If you are new to Subscribe and Save, you will very quickly go, oh my goodness, I did not know that I was going to need to figure out where to put all the paper towels. But don't worry, Kim, we got that figured out. Anyhow, okay, so the third way that we've been ordering groceries online for a really long time are third-party apps, some grocery store delivery apps. That's what I call them. Okay, so there's a couple ways that this is done. Amazon has their own grocery or 2-hour delivery in some metropolitan areas, and all of these grocery store delivery apps are going to be very regionally focused. It will very much depend on where you are, and probably the closer to a metropolitan area you are, the more likely you will have access to it. Where we live very close to Indianapolis, but a lot of the apps don't service our area, while some of them do. So it's all based off of your zip code, and almost all of them have a place for you to check. I remember before Amazon Prime Now came out in my area, I could go and I could put my zip code in, and it would tell me if it's coming to my area or not, and it hadn't yet. So Amazon has 2, and we're going to go beyond Amazon here in a second. Amazon has 2. One is called Prime Now. The other one's called Fresh. Fresh is their partnership with local grocery stores in your area. Prime Now, I think, is based primarily off of their warehouses, and it is typically, like, before emergency mode, it is typically a 2-hour delivery service. You usually have to order at least $35 or pay a delivery fee. You will need to tip your driver, or that's optional. However, it's customary for you to tip your driver. But you, depending on what they have in stock and what you need, you can use the app. I don't believe you can do Fresh probably on your computer, but most of it's on your computer app, so, or your phone app or your tablet app. You can get Prime Now. It's called Prime Now, or you can get Amazon Fresh. And you can see whenever you're looking for things, if it says Fresh on the logo, that's different than just ordering on Amazon just in general. It'll put it in a different basket, and it will ask you to add items, and then it'll ask you to pick times. Now, before all of this happened, with the emergency situations that we're kind of dealing with now, it was very easy to get groceries or anything, like you need paper clips, whatever you need, within about a 2-hour window with Amazon Prime Now, or Fresh, either one. I was doing that constantly. If we'd run out of something and I couldn't run to the store, I would just do that. A lot of times I'll get our beverages delivered because they're the same price or they're cheaper through those two apps than they are at my grocery store, and I don't have to lug all the drinks around or the flats of water. They bring it to my door, so I kind of like that. Right now, I will tell you, ever since people really started getting serious about things, it has been almost nearly impossible to get a time slot. And unlike some of the other local grocery stores and also the third-party apps that I'm getting ready to talk about, there's no option really to set a future time for them to come and bring items. So it's been, I hesitate to offer that as it's something that I've used for years, I've enjoyed for years, it really comes in handy, but this is one of those cases that I think, at least for my region where I'm currently at, it's not working for me as a solution right now. Now, I look as time goes on for them to figure it out and it to become another option for us to use. So I didn't want to leave it completely off, because it is something that I probably, next to ordering my groceries from Walmart, it's probably the next most used thing I usually do. But right now, I don't have it at my disposal. And so that's where something else comes in really handy, and that is Shipt. Shipt is a third-party app. It's a paid-for service. I get Shipt. It's an app you can also use Shipt, and again, these links will be down below and also in the blog post. It is a service that I think, depending on where you sign up for it, you can I think the discount code that I have that I can give you, I can share with you, will give it, you can pay $50 a year, and then you don't have to pay individual delivery fee kind of situation. It's the delivery component is taken out of it. You still will have the tipping situation. So that's something to consider. But where Shipt comes in handy, and where Shipt has really been helping me out with the current situation that we're in, is Shipt is one of those situations where it's a third party who shops on your behalf. Now, they're partnering with the store, so you get to choose based off of your address of stores that are participating. In my area, I believe right now that is Meijer and CVS. When I've been traveling, a lot of times, particularly when we're on vacation or when we have to be in hotels, what I will do is I will enter the hotel's address, and it will show me all the different grocery stores and places I can order from. And when I've been traveling, I've been able to get, they've partnered with Publix before, they've partnered with Target, CVS, maybe even Walgreens. I'm not definite on Walgreens, but I have had them go to CVS for me before. So this can come in super, super handy if you're needing some specific things, and that's kind of why it's more of a premium service. It comes in handy when you need specific things, because you have an individual who will communicate with you the entire time they're shopping. So if you have went through the app or online on Shipt, and you've ordered things from Meijer, then what they're going to do is they're going to send you a message. It works the same way as using a major retailer's website. However, it's going through their app. You're deciding what you're going to order and all of that. You pick a time, the same thing, the whole thing, except there is a specific person who works for that third party that then goes to the store on your behalf. They go to the store and then they start shopping. And when they can't find something because somebody took the last pack of chicken legs, they can text you and tell you, hey, they're out of this thing you want, but they have a pack of chicken breasts. Would you rather have the chicken breasts? They also have a pack of chicken thighs. So if you were going to make something and you cared one way or the other, this is a unique situation where that shopper can really help you get something that will actually work as a substitution, versus the big store situation, which is built completely different, where they're just going to either pick something or tell you they're out of it. Your shopper will try to help you find something to actually fill the thing that you can't, that they might be out of. And that comes in super handy in situations like what we're dealing with, because now you have somebody who maybe you really need tissues, or maybe you really need something. Now they can't make things that aren't there be there, but maybe they can help you come up with a solution as similar to if you were at that store. The kind of decisions you would make, your personal shopper can help make those kinds of decisions with you, can help show you what is available, and you can make decisions that way. And so that is what I see as the big benefit of that. We have been using Shipt for 2 years, and I love the service. I use it at home. I use it when I travel. I use it as a backup a lot of times, particularly at home, because Amazon's easier for me. But in this particular situation, it has come in very handy for me to kind of add it to the rotation when I can't get a slot at my regular grocery store, or I can't get Amazon Prime Now to work. I have this as another option. And what I have found, at least in my area, there are a lot more times to choose from with my Shipt app right now. Now that's subject to change anytime. Than there are at my local grocery store, and definitely more than what I'm finding from Amazon right now at this moment. So that is the app that I use. Now I have seen where Aldi is partnering with Instacart, which is another service I have not personally used because it has not come to my area. I've checked it regularly. As best I can tell from the outside, as someone who hasn't used it, you know, intimately, I haven't been able to like regularly use it like I have all these other services I've described. It appears to be a very similar type product where you use a third-party shopper. I'm not confident, I don't know all of those things. I just know that that might be an option. If Shipt isn't in your area, you might check and see if Instacart is. So those are the main ways that I personally have used online grocery shopping. I do want to talk about a fourth thing that is an option, particularly for you guys if you're in rural areas that these kind of services aren't common and you're worried about getting out because of the health concerns that we're all dealing with right now. And I know a lot of you are older, or you have reasons, what either people you're caring for or you personally have immune system issues going on. I just want to tell you, if you don't have somebody who can go grocery shopping for you, or you don't have somebody who can help you with these tools, you might reach out to your local churches. If you need help with food just in general because of you know, economic reasons, definitely reach out to them. I'm sure that they can get you in touch with food banks and that kind of thing. But even if you want to pay for your own groceries, you're just concerned to go out because they're telling you not to go out, reach out to your local church and ask them if they have any volunteers, or if they know of anyone who has any volunteers who could take your grocery list for you or help you get this online stuff set up so that you can go, because I bet that they probably would have somebody who could help you. So that's one of those things that you guys just keep in mind. Even if you don't go to that church, most of those churches should be helping people anyways. So I just wanted to share those tips with you guys. Hang tight. We've got other content coming this week in particular. We've kind of just changed everything up this week so that you guys, we can answer your questions and help get you the kinds of recipes, because it's all different. The world is a little bit different right now. So we just wanted to change everything up and get you guys what you needed. And this was the one thing that I heard for over and over and over again is, can you show me or tell me how to do things online? And so I just wanted to mention that to you. If you have any questions, leave them down below. We're answering a lot of questions in a lot of places. If you have an immediate concern or question, definitely email me at Cris@recipes@crock.com, because that's the place where I am the most. And if you have any more kind of immediate needs or those kinds of things, try and email me there. I'm trying to create content or put together things for you guys that can be helpful during this. Like, you know, I mean, we're all in this together. So whatever you guys do, I really hope you can find some way right now to laugh often, eat good food, and speak live. Bye.
Well, time to head to the store and do one of those pickups we were talking about. We're gonna go to, I say we as in me and you, we're gonna go to our Walmart neighborhood market. It's about 7-8 miles up the road here, and show you what it's like to get groceries at Walmart without having to go into Walmart. All right, so we just pulled up into the Walmart, and as you can see, all the slots are still full. In fact, we got people waiting right now to get in here. Oh, there's my lady. She's getting ready to tell me the order. A little busy today, huh?
Yeah. What spot?
It's Goode. Cris Goode.
Okay. All right, it may be a minute, I'm not gonna lie.
That's okay.
But we'll get you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little full right now. That's okay. Somebody just pulled out, so I just got a spot, so that's great. Yeah, they're a little backed up right now. That's something that we're gonna have to practice, is a little bit of patience. Most of the time when you go do an online order where they just toss it in your car, it's just a few minutes. They usually got it ready at the door, but this place is packed right now. I know a lot of people are getting off work and they've scheduled their pickups for like right after they get off work, and we could only find the slot for 6 o'clock, which is usually really odd. Usually we're going to get them between 9 and 10. So it's a little different right now, but they had everything that we needed. I don't know exactly what Cris ordered, but they had a couple substitutions, but they were still able to substitute, like if they don't have a certain brand, they might substitute it for a different brand. And you can look online, they'll show you the order, and if there's something you don't want in that order, just tell them you don't want it, and they knock it off your bill and they don't give it to you. But now, I'm just gonna sit here and wait until they bring us our groceries. Okay, so groceries is gotten. Groceries have been retrieved. I did not film it, then put it in the back of the car, because I didn't want to make the lady feel uncomfortable being on camera. I imagine they're under enough stress right now because she was busy. But I just showed up, and we tossed the groceries in the back of the car. I signed a little keypad that said I got my groceries and I approved of the order, and that was the end of that. Like I said, there were substitutions, but Cris checked online, saw what they were going to be, and she was fine with them, so there was no sense in sending anything back. They were out of a couple things like distilled water. I think again toilet paper is going to continue to be an issue, and I'm not sure why. People were really calm. You know, there was nobody pushing and shoving, and everybody was letting everybody go in line in traffic. So that's kind of the best part about the whole online pickup, is you order it, they bring it right to your car. You don't have to worry about, you know, waiting in long lines and things like that with grocery pickup. So it's really not that bad. Well, I got to make a couple more errands, a couple more runs I got to go do, and then head home and unload the groceries. One other stop I had to make was here at Walgreens, because they carry the nicotine gum that I like to chew. You see me chewing all the time? Well, I went in to get some distilled water. They were out, which is fine. I was able to grab some sodas. And then also, since they didn't have toilet paper, another reason to go to Walgreens or CVS is, well, as many receipts as you get back, that gets you covered for at least a week.
If you want to see the latest, click on the left right here. If you feel like subscribing, click on the right, my dear. And if you think we're funny enough to send us money, click the